Aotearoa, and welcome to Wednesday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz. And today we lead with news. Many countries are awaiting news of a new barrage of US tariffs, although the fear level is nowhere near as high this time, as this weapon has proven relatively limp in the past and mainly hurts US consumers. First today, though, the overnight dairy auction surprised somewhat, with an end to the recent weakness, rising 1.5% in US dollar terms, although it is down almost 1% in New Zealand dollar terms on the firmer New Zealand dollar. Perhaps surprisingly, milk fats did quite well, other than cheddar, which fell 6.5%. Powders were all up. Some say that Northern Hemisphere heat waves have buyers nervous, and this will soon weigh on production levels there, so stocks are being built in case. In the US, the slower hiring trend that started in early May continued last week, with the ADP tracking reporting its lowest level since March, just after this weekly tracking series started. And US timber prices are rising, and quite sharply recently. That is because of forest fires in the US Pacific Northwest states and in British Columbia, the main exporting Canadian province to the US. Trump's new tariffs on Canada are making things worse for US housebuilders. The early outcomes for the second quarter earnings season reporting, with 10% of S&P 500 companies reporting actual results so far, shows that 88% of these companies have reported a positive EPS surprise and 85% have reported a positive revenue surprise. The US summer holiday season is starting to peak now and will stay like this until early August. The season overall ends on their Labor Day on September the 7th. We note this because commercial activity is different during this period and financial market activity is lighter than usual. And the same is true for Canada, of course. But US border states are doing it tough because Canadians are choosing to avoid the US for their holidays as the insults and tariff actions from Trump's Washington swamp stay aggressive. In China, new stimulus is being rolled out. Its gigantic 6 networks build-out is getting a major boost as part of more infrastructure spending. Those 6 networks are water networks like canals, power grids, data centres, 6G development, underground pipelines, and supply chain efficiency upgrades. But they're also trying to get their services sector re-energised as well with targeted investments. Meanwhile, China is rethinking its tax rebates that are driving its export competitiveness. It needs those funds for its domestic projects, and it doesn't need the international alarm their mercantilist export policies are creating. In Europe, the ECB's second quarter lending survey has found banks have tightened credit standards moderately for firms on higher perceived risks and lower risk tolerance. Corporate loan demand rose while demand for housing loans and consumer debt decreased. Interestingly, companies seeking green loans were found to have much better financial profiles. And Germany's ZEW sentiment survey recovered notably in June after 4 months of weakness, and this mirrored their wider survey for the EU. The price of copper is rising again, getting near the record highs it posted at the start of the Iran-US conflict. Driving some of this are unusually low copper stocks in China. Meanwhile, the FAO is reporting that hunger in the world fell again in 2025 and for a third consecutive year. Around 645 million people, or 7.8% of the world's population, experienced hunger last year, down from 8.1% in 2024 and 8.6% in 2022. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now just on 4.63%, up 3 basis points from this time yesterday and approaching its recent mid-May highs. And the price of gold has risen to $4,069 an ounce, up $65 from yesterday. Silver is now just over $58.50 an ounce, up $2 from yesterday. And oil prices are up $1.50 from yesterday at just on $84.50 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is now just over $92 a barrel and up $3. Hormuz transits are still just a trickle. There have just been 1 crude tanker and 3 cargo ships exiting over the past 24 hours and 11 entering for new loads, and all of this traffic is Iran-linked. And the Red Sea is also now effectively blocked at Yemen. The Kiwi dollar is now 20 basis points lower from yesterday at just over 58.3 US cents. Against the Aussie, we're also down 20 basis points at 83.3 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're down 10 basis points at just on 51.1 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at 62.2, which is down 10 basis points from yesterday. And the Bitcoin price started at $66,421 and up 1.3% from yesterday. Volatility over the past 24 hours has again been modest at just over plus or minus 1.4%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston. We'll do this again tomorrow.